The funeral, chapter 13, siblings, fade in. The exterior of the senior center community room. It's very hot outside. Buddy pulls the van into the parking lot and he tries in vain to find some shade. As he gets out of the car, he tells May, "It's going to get to be pretty hot in there, but I don't guess she'll feel anything. Let's go on in." May, "Buddy, show some respect for the dead." Buddy shrugs. Interior of the community center. As they enter the community center, little kids are running around. The teenagers are grouped here and there talking. Gerald is going around talking to other siblings on Buddy's line. "Gerald, why don't we get some food and then get together in a little room over there and get to know each other better?" Leslie, Gerald, Patrice, Prudence, and Margot DeClerc get some food and go into the room and shut the door. Buddy begins pacing. He goes around the room visiting, but he keeps looking at the closed door. Inside the room are several chairs and a couple of bean bags. Gerald says, "Well, this has never happened before. I really don't know you girls too well. I remember seeing you a couple of times when you were quite young." Prudence, "Yeah, I always wanted to get to know a lot of you better. You guys were always a lot older than we were." Gerald, "So what do y'all do?" Margot, "I'm an insurance broker. I have my own business. It's not too large now, but I'm working hard and it's growing." Prudence, "I'm a lawyer. Right now I'm working with Child Protection Services." Leslie, "I'll bet that can be a heartbreaker." Prudence, "It sure can. What do you guys do?" Gerald, "Well, I'm a pilot for an oil company. We fly all over Texas and sometimes to the islands." Patrice, "I'm a publisher of educational books." Leslie, "Well, y'all know what I do. I teach for the seminary." Patrice, "What can you tell me about your experience with Dad? I know he didn't care for me at all." Gerald, "Yeah." Leslie, "None of us really." Margot, "When I was a teen, he left us like he did you. I tried to keep a relationship with him, but it just didn't work." Prudence, "He was always walking around the house in his underwear. We finally went to Mom and asked him to quit that. I always thought that men were all huge, but when I worked in a nursing home, I found that is not true." Patrice, "Did your mom have to fight for child support like our mom did? Mom chased him all around the country, and as soon as she got an order in one state, he would move to another, and when he married your mom, he finally started sending $25 a month for 4 kids and complaining that Mother must be wasting it." Prudence, "Well, he was better with us. He wanted to keep his job, and he had pressure to pay up, but he did complain about it." Gerald, "Prudence, you look a lot like your mom. Red hair, big boobs. I guess that's one reason your dad liked your mom at first." Prudence blushes. "Yeah, I do look like Mom, and you're probably right about Dad. I never liked the way he stared at women, particularly busty ones. He made me feel a little uncomfortable when I got older." Leslie, "Dad came by my place after he divorced your mom. He told me he was going to find a woman that would do what he wanted to do, whatever that was. The next time I saw him, he had," holding his fingers up for quotes, "May baby. She was sitting on his lap and he kept patting her." Patrice, "Well, some things never change. What was he like when y'all were kids?" Margot, "He was one of the most embarrassing dads ever. When he took a bath, you could hear him blowing bubbles through the whole house, and I don't know where he got that much wind." Leslie, "Yep, some things never change. I can remember that too." Prudence, "He told all sorts of bad things about your mom. She was presented as some kind of evil witch, and he had the right to divorce her. He also said that she kept him from seeing you. We figured out later that there was some, shall we say, disinformation. Then we began to feel sorry for her." Margot, "Before he left us, things got pretty bad. Mom got some friends together and tried to cast demons out of Dad. Mom had him lying on the floor and her friends were around him. I don't know why he let her do that. I think he probably holds that against her. Yeah, and obviously it didn't work. Leslie. But when I think of Dad, I remember that before he decided to leave us, he said he wanted me to go with him. But when we left, he never did show much interest, never did any sense. All gave some kind of an agreement with that. During this time, outside the room, Buddy is pacing back and forth. He keeps his eyes on the door and he's acting nervous. In the main room, wife 1 and 2 are talking together in low tones. Every now and then one of them laughs. Buddy's becoming more and more uncomfortable. Leslie continuing. When we were younger, he was always promising us something. Not too long after I married, he said he had a T-bird I could have if I would come get it. I thought, well, why not? And I was getting ready to go up and get it. And then he sent me another letter and said he had sold that T-bird, but he had a Dodge that had been wrecked and I could have that. Well, by that time in my life, I was driving a much better car than that. Just blew it off, just like all the other promises and bribes. Right after he left us, he would write letters, and I would answer them at first. But after a while, I just did not want to have anything to do with him. He would say that he and our new mama had motorcycles, and we came to ride. We see him, we could ride, or some such thing as that. Prudence. Well, I feel like he felt that the sooner he could get rid of us, the better. In my last year of school, I asked for a little money, a couple $100. He gave me 50 and told me never to ask for anything again. Leslie. I can relate. He helped me with $20 to go through college. Grandmother helped me with $1,500, and he always claimed that was from him. But I know better than that. Prudence. That sounds about right. Gerald, did you go down to the old house in the valley? Marie and I went there a few years ago while we were living in the area, and the people let us come in and take a look at the house. It sure was a lot smaller than when we were there. When we were kids. Yeah, says Leslie. I remember the attic. Gerald, you said that before. What I remember is the irrigation ditches. We would swim in them. Did y'all ever get to do that? Margot. Grandmother was living with us by then. We did go by the old place once. They let us in too. Showed us the marks on the wall where Grandmother had recorded the heights of the new kids as they grew. The new owners left that in there. Didn't paint over it. I thought that was kind of nice. Gerald. We were not there before at all after the divorce, but before that we had a ball. I can remember the old barn smelled like cotton dust, and there was a large stand of cactus and a little abandoned house. We ran around with the cousins, kind of paired up with the girl cousins, got in all kinds of trouble, discovered the supply of salt tablets and ate plenty of those. Leslie. We could sure get some good hide-and-seek games going. Prudence. What about your adopted sister? What's her name? Patrice. Soroya. She lives in Georgia. Works troubleshooting computer for some big company. And she doesn't have a lot of respect for Dad. Prudence. Dad says she was your mom's child by another man. We were not sure what to believe until after Mom divorced Dad. Patrice. Well, at the time Soroya was born, Mother was about 3 years post-hysterectomy. Mom always wanted 2 boys and 2 girls. The only way for that to happen was to adopt. Leslie actually went to the orphanage with Dad and Mom to get her. Interesting enough, Soroya was the only child that Dad wanted. Rumor was that he had made arrangements to sell her to a couple who had no children. Leslie. When we were in New York City on the way back from Turkey, Mom and Dad had a terrible fight over her papers. Mom finally got them. We spent the rest of the night sitting up watching TV. I guess everyone was afraid of everyone else by then. Dad never really liked Turkey. Gerald and I had a blast there, you name it. We played in the fields, made farmers mad, we hiked, built forts, fought wars. We were the 2 golden kings and we ruled our world. Sometimes we had an alliance and sometimes not. And when it came time to leave, we got on the plane. Everyone but Dad was crying, and he was laughing at us. Looking back as an adult, I don't know if it was just because he was nervous, but boy, it didn't look good to a 13-year-old boy. Gerald. When Dad left, things were pretty hard. He tried to keep us from getting any of the things that had been shipped back, even our clothes. Finally got a lawyer to sort things out. Even then we did not have much because he sold most everything in Turkey, even our toys, and kept the money. We had toys that Mom's dad had given to us, and he sold all of those things too. Leslie and I would go pick up pop bottles to buy milk and bread. Leslie, yeah. When Christmas time came around, Mom told us we'd not be getting very many gifts. Gerald went around singing, "Have yourself a very little Christmas." Mom felt guilty and went and charged some stuff. I don't even remember what all it was now. Patrice, yeah, and my brothers abused me. Leslie had to take care of all of us as he was the oldest. Gerald did not want to be taken care of. One night Leslie told me to go to bed and I didn't want to, so I started screaming and crying. The neighbors called the police. When they came, I was as quiet as a mouse. Nowadays they would have taken us away from Mom, but she was doing her best. I know, yes, Gerald did save my life. When I was a baby, Mom came into the room and Gerald was holding a big rock over my head. Mother had a fit, but he said he was just showing his little sister what a big rock looked like, so he saved my life by not dropping it on my head. Everybody laughs. Prudence, we were a couple of years apart. We were close enough that we got into a lot of trouble together. Margot, in a way I feel sorry for Dad living in a house with 3 women. We would play tricks on him like mixing his socks up. Sometimes we would hide a book he was reading. A couple of times we got screaming, hair-pulling fights. But those are pretty rare. One of those fights was when Prudence told a story about me to a boy I liked. I was so humiliated when I got home I just tore into her. I guess that was the worst fight we ever had. Prudence, yeah, that was a good one. But you got even with me when you put glue in my cream rinse bottle. I like to never got all that washed out. I think Mom gave us both a paddling after that. Margot, yep, that was the last spanking we bought, if I remember right. We both had music lessons. Mom was pretty adamant about that. I took violin and Prudence took piano. Many hours of practice. When I started the violin, Dad would say it sounded like a hoarse rooster trying to sing. I guess it was kind of awful at first. Then we got so we could do duets together, and that was more fun. Heavy knocking on door. Everyone turns and looks at the door. Y'all need to wrap it up in there. We've got to get on the road. We're driving to Corpus this afternoon. Leslie called out, "Okay, Patrice, we'll be out in a minute." Leslie goes on, "You know, after the divorce, it was kind of like the de Klerk side of the family disappeared. We've gotten to know some of them recently, but hardly knew anything about y'all. Let's exchange phone numbers and addresses so we can keep in contact." Gentle agreement. The kids reach for pencil, paper, pens, etc. And they're chattering during the process. The siblings exit the room, all of them grinning. Leslie to the room in general. "Well, that was fun. We'll have to do that again sometime." Several of the family members give each other knowing grins. Buddy frowns. Says, "Didn't I raise a beautiful bunch of kids?" Wife 1 and 2 both make faces. Buddy pretends not to notice. People begin walking out to the car, giving the family their condolences. Elijah to Buddy, "Hey, Bud, think Ethel got enough warmth in her car this time?" Buddy ignores him and goes up and gets in the van. May hurries up and to get in the van before Buddy takes off. May, "Buddy, don't take offense at Elijah. He's just remembering your mother. She was cold all the time." "Well, yeah, she was, but she doesn't have to worry about that now." May, "No, honey, she doesn't. I am glad the coffin seals up well." Buddy, "Oops, I forgot to screw it down. Glad you said that." Gerald drives by in his black Mercedes limo. "Hey, Dad, see you at my place." Buddy, "Now don't get in too big a hurry. I'm not sure how to get there." Gerald, "Well, then you better hustle." Gerald pulls away. May, "Where did he get that huge car?" Buddy, "He got it in a drug property auction. Kind of an awesome car, isn't it?" May, "Yeah, if you want to look like a gangster." Buddy, "Well, I really like it. If I had it, I would have started a chauffeur business. I would put on my French hat and just drive people around all day and get paid for it. Might even see some pretty girls. May reaches over and puts her hand on Buddy's arm. Down, boy. Just take it easy. Buddy. Oh, you don't have anything to worry about. You're my May baby. May. Just don't ever forget that. Buddy pulls onto the highway and accelerates to follow the Mercedes limo. Thump of expansion joints. Fade out.